Hey guys, it's Hallie and Katie, and we are so excited to welcome one of our first guests to Between Us Moms. She's one of the most famous reality stars on the planet. She's a singer, an influencer, a podcaster, one of my favorite people to follow on Snapchat. She's a beauty. She's one half of Spidey, and she's a mama to two boys, Gunnar and Riker. Please get excited for Heidi Montag.
Yay, Heidi!
What an intro. Thank you.
You're
You're
such a
all those
legend.
things. You are.
Thank you. Thank you.
Heidi, one of the first things we always want to ask our mamas when they come on, because we just feel like moms need to be checking in on each other a little bit more, is how is your heart? How are you doing? How are you feeling? It's a day by day roller coaster. So today, how are you feeling?
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling balanced. I'm feeling successful at this moment of being a mom and navigating too. Um and yeah, it's a lot, right? You're always managing your kids' emotions and your husband's emotions and everyone's like, "How am I? Am
Right?
I okay? Right? Am I good?"
What
Seriously.
this is, and this is a fun fact when this will go live, but it is a Saturday morning. It's 9:30. I'm always curious, like, what are your mornings like?
Usually I wake up at 5 with Riker. He is an early riser, 4:30 this whole week. It's been
Oh
nuts.
my gosh.
And then I get Gunnar ready for school on the weekdays, but today's Saturday, so he can watch TV. Today is like a TV rest day. And I stayed up way too late last night. So I slept in and Spencer got up with the boys this morning.
Oh, that's so nice. See, that's like the trade-off, right? We need our the dads to step in or the partners to step in.
I'm like 1 day a week. I will wake up every day, but I need 1 day to sleep in. So you pick Saturday or Sunday.
I
Yeah.
And
like
last
that.
night
That's
was like, all
fair.
right,
My daughter is 20 months old and she's kind of going through a regression. So we're doing a lot of early mornings and the coffee is strong in our house. It's real strong.
We did this morning. Our daughter woke up around 6 and we went to go get her, changed her diaper, and then just like brought her in the bed with us, hoping she would fall back asleep, but unsuccessful.
never, that never happens for us.
No.
My little one, he doesn't even cuddle. He's just on the move. The minute he wakes up, it's like, go
Go.
time, all hands on deck, lock the gate, secure the everything. It's like there is no wake up time.
Yeah, it's just go, go, go. Ours is
Yeah.
starting to crawl and it's like she just wants to practice constantly. So, yeah, I feel like one of the things that was really big for me when I first welcomed my daughter was like my identity felt like it had totally changed. And I'm curious for you, how did your identity or your idea of yourself change when you became a mom, if at all?
I became almost too immersed in just being a mom, and I forgot that I was still a person, and I forgot, like, hey, I need to work and I am doing all these different things, and I've worked so hard on my music and TV and my career to just drop it. But I became like a very attachment mom, and I let everything else kind of go. And then a few months in, I thought, okay, maybe I should put on some makeup and maybe I should get back to work and I should start working out again and just kind of checking in on myself, because it's so easy to just lose track of yourself and to become the identity of just being a mom. And I had to find myself and remember myself. And with the second child, I didn't have that adjustment. It really was just the first child for me.
Oh, interesting. So then do you feel like going from no kids to one kid or one kid to two kids was almost easier, like the second time?
Yes and no. But so I had a lot carved out and I knew what to expect. I wasn't as attached. I also knew like this is a quick season and this is going to go fast. And it just put everything in perspective for me. So I felt more veteran. I felt like I feel like I have more experience. So the little things aren't as big. I knew I wanted a sleep plan and sleep hygiene from the beginning because I saw how co sleeping went for me. And I was like, I am not going down that route again. And I just have learned a lot from it. And I like working. I like being successful. And I realized that I could balance both. The pull for me now is finding the time for both boys and feeling like I have enough time for my older one, for Gunner,
Mm,
because that is where my mom guilt really comes from. And he's at school, so I don't have as much time. And it's more intense with him now, for him too, because I'm like, Gunnar, don't do that. Can you help with this? And it's this new dynamic between him and I, instead of it just being all about him and it's fun and catered to him, where I feel a little strict with him
mm.
or expect more out of him. And I want to make sure that's not being overboard as well.
Yeah. No, I totally
I'm
That's
understand.
part
expecting
of
my second right now. And
it.
so thank you. But hearing you say that is that's really good advice because I'm going into this thinking like, how do we still carve space for Dylan and how do we still make her feel special? And you mentioned mom guilt, and it makes me think like you are so generous with what you share on social media and like letting your fans into your family life a little bit. Do you ever feel like social media is a place that breeds mom guilt for you, or is it a pretty healthy space for you?
With my Snapchat, the community is 99% very supportive and really follow my path and know me and understand me in a way that I've never been able to have fans interact that way. So they almost feel more like family or friends. Instagram is different. And those, so I just turn off commenting because I'm like, I don't need that. I don't need like
Yeah.
any negativity with that. It's a different thing, but it's also really supportive. Like Snapchat, if I have a quick mom question, I can get 10 answers, and usually it's from like professional nurses, or so it's been really helpful. Like, oh my gosh, he just ate this, what should I do? And that's been really helpful to actually have a group of moms, because with my first son, I didn't have the support of a mom group. And that's really important. Even if they're not your best friends or super close, just to have moms to bounce ideas off of, to feel supported with, to ask, what sports are you doing? So I have a really great group of mom friends, and that's been really helpful.
See, we like to say motherhood is a sisterhood.
Yeah.
And like you really, it's like a sorority. It's like the ultimate bond because you don't know until you know. And it's just such a wild ride. So you're right. Having that support group is so important.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, a community who just gets it, that you can call like crying or you can call excited over a milestone. Um, that's like been the number. I had like very bad postpartum anxiety, and like having friends like Hallie was so helpful.
They definitely understand more, because husbands are great too. And it's different. You
It's
need
totally different.
moms. Yeah, you need both, right? You need the support. And that's why they always say, like, it takes a village. It's like, it really does, because you need that support too. And it's a lot raising kids and in the city and different places. Like, it's every place has its challenges, and the internet. And it's a wild world. And I guess it just really always has been.
Yeah. Okay. Real talk. Did you like being pregnant?
I loved it. I loved
Really?
being pregnant. Yes. My first time, it was everything, every little kick. The second time though, I was like, okay, I love being pregnant and I'm ready for this baby, because when you run around with the second child, Hallie obviously is experiencing that, you're so much more tired. You don't have time for the naps too. It's like you're still dealing with the other one. And I just had no rest. I was really fatigued. And I don't know if I'm just older now, because it was like 6 years older, and that made a big difference. But I loved being pregnant.
Yeah. Does the family feel complete now?
Yes, the
Yes.
family is very complete. We are done. I am done. So unless God has a different plan, then I am definitely at like my max as a human being.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about like bounce back culture and like, moms putting all this pressure on themselves to get their bodies back. And like we were talking about earlier, just to like feel like themselves again. What's your take on all that? And like what works for you and what was your experience like?
I decided with Gunner that I wasn't gonna have any of that pressure. And I decided that with my second too. And I just thought, I don't need that. There's a time and a place. And if you wanna snatch back whenever you're feeling it or not, then that's fine. But I didn't want to rush the process. And I mentally decided to put it on the back burner. I did want to start working out sooner the second child than the first because I realized that I have back pain and I
Mhm.
just wanted to be strong. So for me, it wasn't even about fitting in jeans or whatever it was. It's that I wanted to get back in the gym to be able to lift Gunner, to be able to lift Riker, to be like a really strong mom. So that's my new thing. I don't care what weight I am. I don't care what jean size I am. I don't care about any of that. I just want to be strong to be able to lift my boys. I want to be as healthy as I can as long as I can.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about this at the beginning, how on the weekends TV is okay. And I'm so curious if Gunner, I mean, I think Riker's a little bit young, but does he understand who his parents are yet? Does he understand fame? And like, when will you let
He
them watch The Hills?
Yeah, so he gets like, "Oh, Taylor Swift held me when I was a baby," and he like loves that photo because everybody at his school is obsessed with Taylor Swift, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know Taylor." So I think that's like right now the most fun for him. And he doesn't really like, sometimes he likes when people come up to us, but he kind of doesn't really like that. It takes the attention away from him, but he's really social and he loves Snapchat and we have to like be careful not to
Because
film
the
him too much.
filters,
Yeah, he wants
the
like the
faces.
whole thing and he wants his own YouTube channel of gaming and like all this stuff. So he gets it, but it's just like pretty normal for him.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll let him watch The Hills at any point? Or like what kind of conversation will you have with him before he does watch it?
I don't think it will be relevant to him. I don't think it will be interesting to him. I think that generation will be past and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, my parents were on a show. And, we're in talks with our own show right now. So I think that would probably be more relevant to him if he's on it in whatever capacity. But that would definitely just be a conversation like, yeah, mom and dad made a lot of money and, we were silly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Silly.
whatever.
Wait, is Spidey coming back to TV?
I think so. I mean, it's always, in the talks and in the works and some kind of deal here or there. But my music is really taken off and I think that's an interesting angle. And it would have to be funny because the end of the day, Spencer and I's dynamic and our family is funny. It's not really dramatic. So it would definitely play into more of like a silly show.
Okay. And you would let the boys obviously be on it. It would be
Yeah,
about your guys' dynamic and your music and what you're doing now, maybe the crystals.
right. In a
Some
smaller
hummingbirds.
capacity. I think that
Um,
people don't really like watching other people's kids. And I find that interesting because I like watching other people's kids, but
Me
I
too.
don't love it. It's not
Oh.
like it's not I'm like, I have enough of my own kid life. So I like an insight of it and as an element, but when it's a whole focus, I think that I lose a lot of my audience. And so I think
Interesting.
the same with this show. I think they'd be in like a small capacity of it, but it'd be more about like Spencer and I and hustling and going to China because my music is like top 90 there in the charts. And I have like I'm very big in China right now.
Well,
I
you just put
love
out a
that.
new song, right?
Yeah, with Cara de Agordia.
Oh my, she's a big songwriter. She was also a judge on Idol, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah. David Foster had her write it years ago, and we never put it out because we didn't buy it. And we're like, you know what? That is such a great song. Why go back to the drawing board when we have this song and it's done and it's Kara? Let's just put it out.
I
Tell us
love
all,
it.
like, what does the future of your music look like? Will we get an album? Is it just singles right now? Are you writing?
I have written some, but I'm not like the best writer, and I definitely want the best writing. So it's fun to contribute to writing and have ideas, but we'll see. It's an evolving process. So I'm thinking like an EP or an album, but we'll just see. It's tricky too because it's our own money, and I don't want to go down that route being a mom now and being more responsible with our finances. It's like, okay, if it makes sense with this song, it makes X amount, then we can spend X amount, but it's not like, let's go full in and just spend our money, because I want to be way smarter than that at 37.
Yeah, but still, I'm so excited for all the Heidi music.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Did
I'm fully obsessed with your podcast.
yeah.
Oh, thank
It's so great. Are you
you.
guys just having the best time doing that together?
Yes, it's so nice to have, it's almost like a date day. We have that time of just the two of us in the car, all the way there, all the way back, and then to be able to work together. We really thrive working together. It's been part of our dynamic. So it's nice to have it. And I love doing the podcast. It's just that undivided attention too that we get to have, and the guests are so fun. So it really has been such a blessing.
We have to talk about Taylor and Travis. I mean, you're wearing the Taylor sweatshirt. I love Taylor with every fiber in my body, and I just need to know your thoughts.
I do think they're going to get married. I think this is the one. I mean, I don't know Taylor, like, I've met her a few times and she's great and I love her, but I'm not like a close friend of hers. So I don't know any insight, but it seems like this is the guy for her, and she's very invested in their families. But I love it. I think she's the ultimate football wife, and boss, and he's like her cheerleader. So I just think it's such a nice dynamic from an outside perspective.
Yeah, it feels different.
Yeah. Do you and Spencer have dealt with like being so intensely in the public eye and having everyone scrutinize your every move? What advice would you give to Taylor and Travis? Because they're going through it now.
I think that Taylor has had more public relationships and everything analyzed than any person in the history of the world. So it is different when it is the love of your life and you're more protective as well and more strategic about it. So not like she needs any advice from me, but if she were asking for some, I would just say to not listen to any of the comments. And I'm sure she doesn't, but just when you know what you have, that's all that matters.
Yeah. You and Spencer are going to be celebrating 15 years of marriage.
Yep.
Congratulations. That is
Thank
huge.
you. Thank you.
I am curious, how does Spidey keep things spicy? Like, what do you have to say
It's
to all the people out there?
Yeah. Especially as being parents to two little
Yeah.
ones.
No,
Give us
intimacy
the
is
tips.
so important. And even when you're tired, it's important to make that time. So I would look on like a week and be like, okay, well, how many times have we been intimate or not? And just really like check in, because it's easy to push aside the needs of your husband, especially when you have the children right there.
Yeah, you're
But
tired and
yeah, you're tired, you're freaking tired. And I get it, but it's like, also it's a maintenance thing that you can't catch up with later. And intimacy is just so important. So whether it's a nap time, nighttime, whatever time it is, and no matter how much time it is, it doesn't have to be this pressure on it. It's like, okay, well, sometimes, short and sweet or whatever
yeah,
it is, but
or
you really,
in the
it
shower.
has to be a
Yeah.
pressure, right? In the shower, whatever it is, like you have 1 minute, or however long, but it's important to have that. And it's like, I stayed up too late last night, but that was important. And I wanted to like have that time with Spencer and not have it be rushed, and just like laugh and enjoy ourselves and not be like on the clock. So sometimes that's important too, even if you're like really tired the next morning or someone else wakes up like once a month to, go all out or whatever.
That's good to remember, because I
I
think,
know.
yeah, with kids, it's like it gets lost. And then I don't know about you, but like when I was pregnant, I like didn't feel sexy at all. So I was like, oh, I don't want to do this, but it's so important. You're right.
Exactly. And that's why there's other things too. It's like, well, maybe I'm not fully available, but I can do other things. So it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
there's options. Options.
Heidi, where do you see yourself and where do you see you and Spencer like 10 years from now? Is there anything else on the bucket list that you want to accomplish, that you want to do?
My music is a big milestone for me personally in my life, and to continue that success would be great. I definitely want like X amount of money in the bank and just keep really hustling. I want the boys to be really healthy. I'd love to get a second home in Colorado where my parents are so I can take the boys there in the summer. That's like a
Mhm.
big goal of mine, but really just to accumulate a financial security is one of my biggest things. So a show would also be really great if there was a point that Spencer and I could kind of be more authentic and fun, because at the end of the day, that's really our dynamic. So that would be nice. Hosting, I've always wanted to host. I feel like I would be a good host on like a challenge show or like a Love is Blind type of show. And,
Yes, I can
that would be
totally
fun.
see that.
I would like to do something like that.
You and
Or
Spencer should do that together.
I
yeah,
know.
totally like Nick Lachey and Vanessa.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's another key of a successful marriage is just enjoying each other. You really need to remember what you love about that person. And Spencer and I just really enjoy being together and we really have fun together. So thank you for watching it. Thank you for that
Yeah.
support. And yeah, we just have fun together. I think that's the key. And then it's good for the kids. And it's always, everything can get so intense in a house with a head bonk and getting out the door, and just these little things can really accumulate an intense environment. And it's important to have a fun environment too, like let's all tackle dad, or let's have wrestle time, or let's all go on a hike, and to really mix it up, because the intense moments are unavoidable and also important, because you
Mm.
want to balance, or maybe not intense, maybe that's not the right word, but I think that having a mix up of the house and like showing your marriage is really important for children, because they're
Totally.
really watching everything.
Yeah. When Spencer became a dad, did your love for him feel like deeper in a way?
Yes,
Like seeing him?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went deeper, and it became a little more, another level of it too. So you have a little more conflict because you have to deal with each other, in a different way and dynamic as well. And you have to get on the same schedule. And then also the love with all of that, and the respect and the teamwork, and it really just builds a whole deeper layer. And
Yeah.
then with two, I feel even more that way. I'm like, wow, he's really stepped up for two. And I don't have to ask him to do so much now. And we're like in this great groove, because when dads become new too, for some dads it's not as organic, like we're moms, and you're
Yeah.
you're there, and you're hormonally there, and you're emotionally there, and it's like it's you and this child, and you've been carrying it, and you're so attached. And so for him, he really stepped in the beginning, but with the
Mhm.
second one he was already fully in, so that was really helpful.
That makes my heart happy to hear. I love
Yeah.
hearing like about people talk about their partners in that way. I think it's really sweet. We're almost done, but we have a little game for you that we want to play with all of our mamas. It's called From the Mama Heart. And it's just
Okay.
kind of like, well, you'll see. Um, okay, what was the first time that you cried happy or sad tears after becoming a mom?
The moment I had Gunner, I just started hysterically crying. Oh, I'm gonna get so emotional. Yeah, when they just like put him on my chest, that was just everything for me. So that, my gosh, I can't believe I'm so emotional.
I'm gonna cry
It's
because
really,
I
I'm
remember that
crying.
exact moment.
I know,
I'm
it's just
crying.
like, oh.
Heidi, I watched your video the other day of your birth video. First of all, I have to say, I've never seen a more beautiful woman in
Seriously.
labor and delivery in my entire life. Like, you looked gorgeous. But also, Andrew, my husband, walked in the room and he's like, "Are you okay? Like, what's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm watching Heidi's birth video and I'm so emotional. It's so beautiful." I mean, just hearing you
Oh,
talk about it, it's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you. I had, Spencer and I were together for a long time before we had kids, and we really had to talk about having them. And so just with that moment when it came, it was just so divine. And I like really prayed about my birth and I visualized it and I drew it, and it just all was exactly what I hoped for both births. And I just think birth is one of the most miraculous experiences in the world. I'm so glad to be a woman. I think it is so incredibly empowering and cool, and I've never felt closer to God when life is like actually living in you and coming out, and it's like you're like a vortex. So I think labor and birth is so beautiful and cool and exciting and fun and challenging. I love that challenge. You'll never experience anything
Mhm.
like it.
What was your first heartbreak in motherhood?
Mm.
I think when Gunnar got hurt for whatever it was, and I just beat myself up so much over it, like, oh, I can't believe I let that happen. And, just kind of being too hard on myself. So I think I don't remember the exact moment, but just the feeling of that. And it's really important as a mom not to beat yourself up mentally and be like so hard on yourself, and give yourself grace, because you can't be perfect as hard as you try and as much as you want to be such a great mom. So I've really had to work on that on myself. But that's always heartbreaking, when anything happens to the kids.
Yeah. What about something that you wish you knew going into delivery?
The first time, what I wish I would have known is it's a pain unlike anything you'll experience, but it goes fast, like you'll never be there again. And your body's meant to do that. You are meant to do that. It's not like a car accident where this random pain comes through your body and you're not supposed to have broken bones. It's like, no, we are born to have children, and this is natural, and as scary as it can be too, it's meant to happen.
Yeah, that's
Did
actually
you
really
go
helpful.
without an epidural?
I did twice.
Damn, girl.
I
You
did.
are a freaking
Superwoman.
warrior.
I
Dang.
hear the epidural really hurts too, but I don't know. I had this feeling, and I just really prayed about it, and I was like, I don't know if I like both ways, right? I even C-section, all of it's good. Whatever is best for everybody, whatever makes a healthy child. But for me, I felt like if I did it, I wanted to experience it first off. And second of all, I thought that if I got an epidural, it would really complicate my birth, because I heard like Pitocin and all these things are added, and then they speed it up and slow it down. And if I had an epidural, I would have had to have an emergency C-section with Gunnar, because it was 5 hours I labored. And if I didn't push him out the exact second I did, my doctor was like, I was giving you 2 more pushes and then I was going emergency C-section, because it was wrapped around
The
his neck.
cord. Oh,
Right. So for me, I felt like it was more of a insight, like a feeling too.
interesting. Yeah,
Mama
mine was
intuition.
30,
Yeah.
36 hours of labor turned C-section.
I know.
It
Katie,
was not ideal.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It
there's
was
a
a lot.
special place in heaven for Katie for that.
Well,
Totally.
I
Yeah.
mean, everyone has different stories and different experiences, but you are a
Yeah,
warrior. Like, no
exactly.
epidural, I bow down.
Well,
It
you 36 hours right back at you. Oh my gosh, that's a
was
lot.
exhausting. It was
Yeah,
hard,
that's hard.
but
Kind of
we're
in the
here. We
same.
did it.
What is something that you wish you knew about becoming a mom before you did the first time? Or is there anything that surprised you?
I think just to let Gunner like cry a little more or be a little more independent. I don't need to coddle him and suffocate him like, you're okay, you're okay. It's like, it's okay for him to be upset. It's okay for him to cry. It's okay for him to have these emotions, and it's also important. So I think with Gunner, I was like so attached and wanted to make sure like I'll do this for him and I'll do that, and it actually wasn't helpful. So to just step back and give him like more independence and more space and see where he goes with it, I think that was a really important thing. And I've learned that with Riker, and he's like Mr. Independent and puts on his shoes at 15 months and like holds him up to me to like go out the door. And it's been really healthy for him
Yeah. Lastly, what is something that's been on your heart a lot lately?
to really watch how I'm talking to my children and the tone that I use with my husband, with my children, because I'm so busy and I have so many things going on. And I always have really wanted to be a fun mom. And with Gunner, it was super easy to just be a fun mom and just really light all the time and just focus on him. And then with Riker, I've become more of like a multitasking mom. So I'm way busier. There's more intense situations going on. I need more help. So to just watch, like, well, how did I say that to Gunner? And am I triggering a meltdown for him because I didn't stop and listen for a second? So just to like slow down even in the intense moments and just find that like that peace and that calm, because it's so easy to just be like, on the go, we gotta go here and school and this and that. And it's like, okay, how am I setting up the house right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I s-
intentions.
yeah, and I saw
Right.
this thing that like really hit me where it was like, don't forget you're teaching these little people how to be a human being. And we get
Right.
so wrapped up in every day and in the agenda and the hustle that like sometimes we do forget like we're actually setting the example and we're showing them this is how you do life, this is how you treat people, this is how we talk to people. And it's like, oh yeah.
Heidi,
Well,
you are amazing. You are a super mom, super woman. We're so grateful that you lent us your morning to talk about all things mama stuff, family and
yes, thank you
life.
for having me and the mom support. And I love talking mom things. And I'm so excited for you guys. And good luck on the birth and the labor if I don't talk to you before
Thank
then.
you. Yeah, I'm
It's
excited. Oh, well, you're
Yes.
wonderful, Heidi.
nothing
Thank you
like
so
it.
much.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to go make a bottle and get ready for this baby.